Guys, we have people turning 65 every day. Not only are they turning 65 every day, what else does that lead to? More people to be seen in AEP.
The commercials aren't going to stop. The mailers aren't going to stop. People are going to still continue talking to their friends, and they're going to want guidance and want to know what direction to go.
You know, if you're selling life insurance, your clients at some point are going to be turning 65. So if you're not helping them, they're going to go to another agent. You might lose them at some point.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to the NNF podcast. I'm going to be your host for today's episode. My name is Zach Wilson. I'm a sales manager here at Neich Fleming, and I'm joined by two of my favorite people in the industry. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Miles?
Yeah, my name is Miles Miller. I'm the senior account executive at RetireFlo. I've had the pleasure of knowing Zach for about 3 years now. We met at my dad's Medicare agency in Columbus, Ohio, Seniority Benefit Group, and I'm excited to be here in Pittsburgh. And we had a great night last night, so I'm excited to keep it going today.
Yeah, man, definitely. And Davis.
Yeah, I'm Davis Rude. I'm also a senior account executive at RetireFlo. Also got to get to know Zach about 3 years ago, and excited to be back in Pittsburgh again with you.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you guys here. We need to make this more often, right?
That's right.
I know you guys are busy. We're going to get into that. So one thing that I really want to point out is you guys are both young professionals in this industry. You guys both went to college. I mean, both golfers. If I were to ask you, like, what would be your dream job when you were coming out of college, when you got that diploma? What was your next move?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, and those of you who don't know, Davis and I were crosstown rivals in college. I went to University of Dayton. Davis went to Wright State University. We both played golf there.
Okay.
So we faced off a good amount. And at least for me, and you probably have a similar answer, I want to be a professional golfer.
Okay.
When I walked in my freshman year at Dayton, that was my dream. When I walked out my senior year, I knew that probably wasn't reasonable.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would say professional golfer. I still play a little bit now, but I've given up on that dream a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. And what about you?
Yeah, he knows me too well. That would be my dream path is playing professional golf. But yeah, college golf is a great experience. It's just obviously a very small percentage of people play at the professional level and make a good living doing it. So pivoted a little bit. And Scott Miller reached out right when I was graduating. And it made my, the process of finding a job pretty easy because Millers are a great family, and I'm more than happy to work with them.
Yeah, absolutely. They are a wonderful family all around. I've gotten to know all of the Millers pretty well.
That's right.
You guys definitely come from good roots. So, we talked about that, your dreams and your goals and what you thought you were going to do. But let me ask you, what got you involved in the Medicare space? And I'm going to pivot back to you, and I want you to answer this one first. So what really got you here? What got you to say, I'm going to do insurance?
Yeah, I thought there's a lot of great opportunity. Something I've always loved is working with people and meeting new people. So I think that's given me a very good opportunity. In a sales role, you're meeting new people every day. Everybody has different needs. And a lot of people come into the Medicare space very confused. So you can kind of, lay everything out to them and help them make a smooth transition. Because a lot of them have been on employer coverage or it's a different type of coverage for 40 plus years. So
yeah, my story is a little different. My dad started his Medicare shop about 15 years ago. When I was about 12, I started as a janitor.
Okay,
So that was my intro to Medicare.
Okay.
Every Wednesday I go in and clean the office. But fast forward to college, I would collect drug lists every AEP. So I was a broke college student. I needed some money. Yeah. I called up Dad. I was like, I need a job. He's like, actually, I need some help this AEP. So they would send me drug lists. I would input them into our enrollment platform. And that's what I would do every fall. And then, I've always wanted to work with my family.
Yeah.
So my brother was a part of the agency. My dad obviously runs it. And now I got one of my best friends there. So,
too bad you guys weren't around in the NIL era.
That's right.
Maybe you wouldn't have had to do that, but it built you who you are. I'll share my story a little bit. When I grew up, my parents owned a restaurant. And, it was like no choice. Like to you, I needed money.
Right.
There was not many places that I could go and just work as a 14-year-old, right? So I'm counting change. I'll never forget my mom told me I can't use a calculator to give back change. So I can still count change back. I was at the store the other day and this kid fumbled with like 18 cents he had to give me back and was thinking of this and, very similar. So when you're built up into that and you have that resource, I think that's one of the biggest things that people, the youth in general, right? They lack a lot of people skills because they're sitting behind the phone. But when you're have an opportunity to go work for your family or work for someone that to get used to talking to people,
Right.
I feel like that's a forgotten skill set. I'm trying to drill that into my daughter as we speak. So that's why I made her be a hostess. You got to go into the public, and it's helped her out tremendously. So for those parents that are watching this and your kids are always behind the screen, push them to go be a hostess or a waiter. It's just very conversational. So, one thing that I think is really cool about you two is Medicare has been a crazy roller coaster. I would say the past, 3 years, really, right? The past 2, 3, probably 4 AEPs have been very, very disruptive.
Right.
Now, whether that's because, plans are leaving certain areas, certain hospitals and doctor networks are going out of network in certain plans, and really a lot of the benefits are changing. But you guys know no different, right? You came into that. How do you feel the industry is currently, and where do you feel that it is trending?
I do feel like, like you mentioned, it's constantly changing. But I think that just means that you need to, really work on your processes, make sure, you have something you can fall back on and really trust. Coming to Scott's agency about 3 years ago now, gone through a couple crazy AEPs, a lot of big plans terming. But I think really getting organized ahead of AEP, getting, your clients that are going to do a plan review with you, files updated before AEP even starts, frees you up so much time and makes AEP a lot more manageable.
Yeah, great answer. What about you?
Yeah, on the RetireFlo side, I've got to meet with probably thousands of agents, and it feels like chaos right now. Especially, I get different perspectives from different states and get to hear what's going around the whole entire country. But piggyback off of Davis, I think what we've learned is getting ahead of the game, especially during the fall, is the key. Or else it really just kind of implodes on you. Getting everybody's updated list of drugs, doctors, hospitals, figuring out what plans are changing. The agents who are the most prepared, we've seen be the most successful over the last couple of years.
And it just seems that a lot of those carrier rollouts, right? I mean, I always go to Columbus and see you guys at the devoted rollout. A lot of these carrier rollouts even are getting pushed later and later and later, which is giving us a lot less time to become prepared.
Right.
The way that it's going, we feel that the same thing's going to happen again this year. Really, people just need to be on their toes. It's very important. You guys have a great resource in Scott and his team there. He has a wonderful team. Same goes here. I hear anything going on in the industry, whether it's in Texas, Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, wherever. I try to make my partners aware of that as soon as possible. But in the same return, our partners have great relationships with their broker managers. So the way that we built it too is, you guys, Scott especially, may give me a call and give me his take on what he just heard from X carrier. So that's putting it on my radar to be aware of. So I think that's very, relational, right? Like if you don't have a good relationship with your uplines or your business partners or anything like that, I mean, it's a very, very significant disadvantage. It's becoming more apparent that you have to work together as a team in order to get things accomplished, right? So thank you both for those answers. One real quick thing I want to add in, and I'm going to pivot to you.
Yeah.
With all this disruption, with all this network and plans and changes and everything that we just talked about, that brings a lot of opportunity. Like we associate here at Neisschloss disruption with dollars, right? Like there's a lot of opportunity, and we need more Medicare resources to help these seniors with these difficult decisions. For you, what opportunity do you feel like there is currently and will be in the Medicare space?
I think a ton. One thing we've done at our home agency is we do seminars all summer just to get ahead of the game, and we want to be in front of as many beneficiaries as we can. So we'll host seminars, with carriers and just explain what's going on in the industry. A lot of these beneficiaries are going to have to change plans, so we're going to have to help them.
Yeah.
And we're glad to do that. So getting ahead of the game, telling them what's going on, and just making them aware, hey, your plan's probably going to change. Just be ready to come out October.
And I had a chance to attend that event last year, right?
That's right.
You guys did it. I mean, you had the seniors there. They picked who their current carrier was, made aware of some changes. But then they also had the opportunity to go maybe check out another carrier that might better suit them. So to your point, a lot of time savings by doing that. That was one of the best ideas or one of the best member meetings that I've ever had, because it wasn't just one member meeting. It was all your guys' members with all the associated carriers. So great answer. Let me pivot to you. I know you've got a little bit more sales under your belt. What do you feel like the opportunity is in the Medicare space?
Yeah. Well, one thing too, I think a lot of times we get in the habit of selling some of the shiny benefits. We've got to remember that a lot of the core benefits of these plans are still intact. there's still a ton of great options, whether it's on the MA or sub side. So that's one thing, like at Scott's company, Seniority, we really preach is sell the core benefits, make sure their doctors, hospitals are in network and everybody's taken care of. The bells and whistles are a bonus, but obviously that's what you see advertised constantly during the fall, so it spikes everybody's interest and curiosity.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Thank you both for those answers. I'm going to pivot here, so thank you guys for your take on the industry, and we're going to wrap up with a little bit more of that. But I want to talk about what you two have been working on the most for really the past 2 years, I would say.
2 years.
And that's RetireFlo. Mm-hmm. So, Miles, let's talk about the story of RetireFlo.
Yeah.
I know I've heard it from your brother Dalton a few times, but I want your perspective on how RetireFlo was started and really the benefit it brings agents.
Yeah. So we launched in fall of 2023.
Okay.
My brother Dalton Miller started it. But what our agency ran into every year is our clients during the AEP calling us off the hook and saying, hey, can you review my plan? Which we love, as we just talked about. Mm-hmm. It's opportunity. But what we ran into is hour-long phone calls, and as a smaller agency, we can't handle that.
Yeah. We
don't have the time, we don't have the resources, and we were tired of hearing our client, Susie Senior, spell levothyroxine on the phone. That's our RetireFlo tagline. So what we did is we created RetireFlo. What we do in a bunch of words is we collect drugs, doctors, hospitals, pharmacies. We achieve permission to contact, and then we get the scope of appointment. So something you can send out to prospects and gather all that information before the meeting, or during EEP, a lot of agents will send it out to their entire book of business and gather all that information before October 15th starts. The cool thing now is it goes right into Integrity Connect.
Yeah.
So it'll create a profile in Integrity Connect, and you literally have to click a run quote, and you can go right into an enrollment. So it's easy, it's simple, and it's a great way to stay organized.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it saves, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna ask you, how do you see that it helps agents mainly? Like what interactions have you had with agents? What are some success stories that they've been able to share with you on the road?
Yeah, well, just coming back from Medicarians, we had several agents come up to us saying, you saved my business, you changed my life. And, with it being something we started just from, our agency, and we saw a need for it and seeing it having the impact it is, it's been awesome.
I mean, because when you're in these conversations, right, and I think that's what's important is whether you're a plumber, whether you're, working at a restaurant, whether you're an insurance professional, you ask people what they want more of, and the top two answers are always either money, right? Because we always use more money. But the second thing is time. What you guys have designed, especially with everything we talked about with AEP, how it's hectic,
right.
There's not enough time. You have designed a tool to give me and all the other agents time back. Right? We can do our homework, so when that person comes in for that appointment, we know pretty much one or two plans that we're going to put them in, or we're going to tell them, hey, you know what? Great news. Your plan is still great for 2027. I feel like that, the seniors and the Medicare recipients, they really appreciate that. Yeah. When you come into a meeting and you know exactly the one or two plans you're going to show, and you're not trying to, because we're not salesmen, right? We're not.
Right.
We are Medicare resources.
Mm-hmm.
We, I still think it's funny that, when people turn 65, right, they get that big stack, the Medicare for You book, right? Yeah. They're expected to go through all of that. And then they start getting the packets for all of the different carrier options. Yeah. And it's so much that people either, I don't know about you guys, but I cringe when I hear that, oh, I'm just on A and B.
Right.
Well, when was that effective?
Right.
2 years ago.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they have nothing else. Right. And they're unaware of the prescription drug plan penalty. Mm-hmm. They're unaware of all of these things. And it's a really misfortunate situation because, as we know, if there's not an SEP or if it's not AEP, we can't put them into anything. So it's very important to connect with somebody that and trust in the industry to better help you. So all of you guys out there, you have people turning 65, find a good agent in your area. So you guys are coming off of, Flow Day. Yeah. I had the pleasure of being, able to attend that pretty much all day. And I think the important thing about Flow Day is, right, like how long was it?
I think it was 3.5 this year.
Right, yeah, like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
You guys have designed that for people to really, if you can stay on all day, fantastic, right? But you've designed that for people, and you've put out an agenda where, hey, you know what, I can't make it for this hour, but I can get on this hour.
Right.
No matter what time you jumped on that call, you saw a big name speaker you got a lot of good feedback. You got a lot of good ideas. And, I think what you guys did was great. And record-setting numbers this year. This is year 2 for Flow Day. So how many registrants were last year? I forget. You just said, you rattled off the stat.
I think 2025 was 2,200.
Okay, and you had how many this year?
3,300.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
And you guys had big name presenters on there as well. So people are believing in what you guys are doing enough to take their time, right, to jump on and tell people about it, give their thoughts on the industry. What do you think attributed to the spike in attendance?
Yeah, I think number one, and this is not to tear down any conferences that are out there, but we want to make an option where you can sit at home, sit at your office. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on travel.
Yeah.
And you can learn about the industry. And we're not here to have, maybe long carrier presentations. We're here to talk about real strategies you can implement today. Whether that's, getting ready for AEP or just simple processes. One thing I think it's important is my dad, Scott Miller, will come on and he talks about how his agency handles AEP. And I think a lot of agents really appreciate that hands-on walkthrough of what he's actually doing. Because we don't talk about that enough as an industry.
Right.
I don't think agents talk enough in general.
Yeah.
Because we're really such a great resource for each other and can bounce off ideas, and it's a fun, happy environment. We have music on. It's a party. It's a party. So and our speakers were incredible. So it was a fun day.
Awesome. What do you think attributed to the growth?
We just have a bigger presence now too.
Yeah.
Going into really the third full year of RetireFlo, more people know about us. And then I think Dalton did a great job too of just, marketing Flow Day and letting people know it's available. And I think a lot of people got a lot out of it last year too. So they returned and they told people about it. But it was great to see such great attendance. And one of the things that made me really happy is we had some of our friendly users from Hawaii tuning in at 5 a.m. there. So people from all over were able to join, and it was a great day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then just for the viewers out there, what surveys do you guys, I know you have the Medicare, the ACA, what all surveys do you have within your platform to gather client information?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, we have the Medicare survey, we have an ACA survey, we also have a life insurance survey. And a lot of our users really like our consent form and also our SOA. So we also give, consent only option and SOA only option.
And I know we're going into year 3.
Yeah.
Anything you can tell us about where the flow? Because I know Dalton, right?
Yeah.
I know him, and I know that he's planning something else. He's always thinking 5 miles down the road. Anything you can share? What you guys are maybe focused on or looking to add to RetireFlo?
Yeah, we're adding many integrations this summer, and some of them have already started, which we're super excited about. We have a very exciting integration with Health Sherpa on the ACA side coming out.
Okay.
So what that will look like is an agent will send out their ACA survey, the client will complete it, and that information will go right into Health Sherpa.
Awesome.
So you can run a quote, enroll somebody, you're ready to roll. Our integrity integration is rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
I think a lot of agents were kind of getting used to it last AEP. We launched right before October started. So we didn't get a ton of adoption, but agents are getting on board and they're seeing how it's changing their lives every day.
Awesome, man. So, I can't wait to see what's coming with RetireFlo. Another thing I want to touch on too, you guys both hit on it earlier. You guys were at Medicarians, right? I know Jill and Chris from our office were there. And I got a lot of feedback from Medicarians, from agents and people that attended. But I'm interested in your feedback. Again, the younger generation coming into Medicare. What was your feedback on Medicarians as a whole?
Well, before we walked in here, I was just talking to Chris Holmes, and we both said we're still recovering from Medicarians. And that was probably what was that, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So it was an incredible event. I mean, there's thousands of agents there, and we were talking to everybody as much as we possibly could. One thing cool we did this year is we got some varsity jackets, RetireFlo varsity jackets. Our goal was to stand out amongst everybody. We walked in there, we talked to as many, agents as we could and shared our stories. So, but a lot of great information came out of it. Speakers were incredible. Anybody who's thinking about going next year, I would highly suggest.
Cool.
It's such a great way to gain knowledge in our industry. So
and network as well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we don't do enough of it.
No.
We don't do enough networking. What about you?
Yeah, like Miles and I, so much of our day-to-day is talking to, our friends, our agents over the phone, or, in front of a computer on Zoom. So actually getting to see a lot of these people in person and make those connections is, something I always enjoy.
Yeah.
Good.
One thing I'd like to add is
Yep.
Jill Henderson, and I hope she's watching this at some point.
Yeah. Oh, she will.
Her glasses were out of this world. So she's killed it each and every day.
Yeah.
Love that. That's her thing, right? I mean, I don't know how many pairs she has. It'll be interesting. When we're done with this podcast, we'll go and ask her how many pairs of frames do you
There's a
actually
daily
have?
buzz amongst the conference of which glasses she was going to wear each day. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's very important too. Like
Right.
that's her thing.
Mhm.
And I think everybody out there should have a thing.
Right.
You know, like I do a lot of shoes.
Mhm.
I do a lot of lapel stuff. You guys, what's your accessory to set you up?
I need to work on that.
You need to work?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk after. Thank you both for coming today. A lot of great information for our viewers. Davis, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Miles, pleasure,
Thank you.
my friend. Just to kind of round us out here, okay? And by the way, you guys are going to be at Insight this year,
We wouldn't-
July 23rd.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't miss it. Would not miss it.
Absolutely. So if you're coming to Insight, which you all should, you'll be able to network with these guys and see how they can save you time. But the way I want to really round this out is guys, we have people turning 65 every day. Not only are they turning 65 every day, what else does that lead to? More people to be seen in AEP. There's not enough Medicare resources out there for us to service all of these Medicare eligibles. Miles, if you are a young professional, whether you're in the industry, whether it's life insurance, financial advisor, P&C broker, or if you are brand new to insurance, why do you think someone should add Medicare to their product portfolio?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think if you're a financial advisor, you're selling life insurance, maybe do ACA. You know, as you said, people turn 65 every day. And number two, in my opinion, it's a very positive experience. You know, a lot of these beneficiaries are coming off an employer plan and they're getting better coverage on Medicare. And it's a happy experience and it's a great way to build a revenue stream. You know, if you're selling life insurance, your clients at some point are going to be turning 65. So if you're not helping them, they're going to go to another agent and you might lose them at some point. So it's a great way to kind of transition them, you know, when they turn 65 and you know, you that relationship is sticky from that point on. So I think that's really important. Yeah.
I'm going to ask the same thing to you, Davis. Why should someone add Medicare to their current product portfolio? Or if you are a young person, whether you're graduating college or coming out of high school and want a professional career, why should someone become a Medicare resource at such a younger age?
Yeah, I think there's just as much opportunity now as there ever has been in the industry. There's so much plan disruption. People are looking for guidance, and you can be, you know, a resource for that. So I think this AEP, just like the last couple, you know, you're going to see tons of people wanting to do plan reviews. The commercials aren't going to stop. The mailers aren't going to stop. People are going to still continue talking to their friends, and they're going to want guidance and want to know what direction to go.
Very, very good answer. And I would agree with everything that both of you just said. If you're not going to help them, they will find somebody else to help them. And also the revenue in this industry is pretty good.
It's awesome.
The renewal aspect is fantastic.
Especially if you start young.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You start young and start building your book, you're going to be very well off
Right.
at an earlier age. So again, thank you both for
Thank
joining
you.
me on the
Thank
pod.
you.
And for those of you that, you know, are interested in setting up a, you know, demo with RetireFlo, you guys are doing demos too as well. They can reach out to you. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, just go to retireflo.com. We have a big demo button at the very top of our website. You can schedule a time, talk to us. It'll probably be Davis or I.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you about RetireFlo. We'll talk to you about whatever you want to talk about.
Awesome.
So we're friendly people. It's a family-run business, so
Absolutely.
we're here to help.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if you're a agent out there right now listening to this that might not be getting everything that you think that an upline should be providing, give us a call here at Neischoss and Fleming. If you're a new agent that is in the life insurance or financial or P&C space and you're thinking about adding Medicare, give us a call. All right. Thank you both.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Zach.
much.